In today's video, we're doing all new Dollar Tree DIYs. You're gonna need to pick up 2 items for this DIY. You're going to need a clear glass container, preferably a round vase, and you're also going to need one of these Dollar Tree baskets. Now, Dollar Tree has had these out for a few years, and they have several different styles available. Next, you're going to add some E6000 to the bottom half of your glass vase, and then you're going to set it inside of the basket. You're gonna find out that this basket fits almost perfectly around this glass vase. Let it dry, and then you can fill it up with your favorite rocks. I'm using the natural rocks that they have at Dollar Tree, and then I'm just going to add in some neutral stems. This is a stem that I had from Hobby Lobby, but you could definitely use stems from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to cut off the pieces and put them into my vase. And here's how it turned out. Every season, Dollar Tree comes out with a new dinnerware line, and sometimes I like them, but most of the time I'm not impressed. I have to tell you, I really like the dinner plates they came out with this last month. They are so pretty. They are black and white, and they have this great design. So you can get the dinner plates. They also have a salad plate, or you can get the bowls, and they have some great options for the placemats. So for this DIY, I went ahead and picked up a dinner plate, and then I wanted to put a base on this. So I went in my craft room and I found this candlestick. This is one that hopefully you can still find. It's a pretty popular one, and I'm gonna add E6000 to the top of my candle holder, and then I will add on the plate. Let that dry completely, and then you can use this as a tray in your kitchen. Now, the last time I was scrolling on high-end sites, I saw these candle holder lamps, and I thought they were really pretty. So when I was shopping at the thrift store, I found this candle holder. Didn't really like the color of it, but that didn't stop me. So I went ahead and removed the contents of the candle and spray painted it a metallic gold color. So you want to do at least 2 coats of spray paint on the entire candle holder. Now, for this candle, I want to use an LED candle because I feel like a real candle won't work in this scenario. So I'm going to put an LED candle into my candle holder. To make it look like a lamp, I found this pretty glass bowl at the thrift store, and all I did was clean it up, and I'm just going to put it on as a topper. Now, you don't want to glue this in place. That way you can always turn your light on and off. How gorgeous are these frames from Anthropologie? I just love the look of them and feel like they look really fresh. And you know we can recreate this with Dollar Tree frames, and of course some of our leftover peel and stick paper, because I've been doing so many peel and stick projects. If you want to see more peel and stick projects on the channel, just let me know down in the comments. I'm happy to make more of those videos for you in the future. But with my frames, I had a larger one and 2 smaller ones, and I felt like they looked similar because they had like that dotted border around the edge. So I went into my craft room and found some of my old peel and stick paper. I wanted papers that coordinated together. So a few of them are from Amazon, and then I had one that was a Dollar Tree paper. I removed the contents of the frames. Then I picked out some spray paint colors that would coordinate with these frames. I took all of the frames outside. I spray painted a layer on the back side, and I'm doing a blue, a green, and an orange. Let that dry. Then I flipped it over and did 2 coats of spray paint on the front. You want to make sure you give these frames a while to dry, especially on the plastic one. But then the next day, you can just take those backing pieces and put it onto your peel and stick, cut around it, and then place it into the frame. Now, one of my tips that I like to do is I like to leave out the glass. I feel like it makes a more bold look, and the glass sometimes reflects and you can't see what's inside as well. So I prefer to leave out the glass. So I'm gonna put my pictures in each one of my frames, and here's how they all look together. Now, if you have a broken terracotta planter or any planter that looks like this, your first instinct, I know, is probably just to throw it out. But I want to give you another option that you could do instead of throwing out this planter. What if you added plants to it? So I went and found a bunch of succulent plants, and I'm going to try to plant those in the broken area and along the top of my planter, and we'll see how it turns out. So I added a little bit of soil to the bottom. Then I removed one of my succulents from the container and placed it into the opening on the side. Now you may have to kind of try some different plants to see what's going to work best, but I added a few plants on the side, adding in additional soil, and then I kind of determined which of my succulents would look best on top. I lucked out that I really bought the right amount of succulents for this project, but I think this looks absolutely gorgeous, and I love that I was able to reuse a planter that was headed for the trash. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Comment the word of the day, which is planter. Let me show you how you can make a planter for $2.50. So you're going to need to pick up some placemats from Dollar Tree. This is their newest placemat. It matches that plate that I showed you earlier in the video, but I bought 2 of these. Next, you could sew this, but we're gonna take the easy route and we're gonna hot glue this together. So I want to put both of my placemats together so that the pretty side is facing out. Make sure you cut off any tags that are on there because you don't wanna glue those down. And then I'll add a little bit of hot glue along one side, and then I'll put the hot glue on the other sides, placing the placemat as even down as possible. Next, I'm going to start filling it with some polyfill. Now, I didn't include this in the price because I had this in my craft room. And honestly, if you don't have polyfill, you could use a lot of things. Like last year, I used plastic sacks. So really think about what you could use around your house and be creative. So I'm gonna be putting in some polyfill, and you wanna stuff it as full as possible. Once you think you got it good, put a little bit more, and then you're going to hot glue that edge. And now you have an outdoor pillow that's cheaper than you could get at Walmart. If you have one of these plants back here, you know they grow really well. And sometimes you can get some really long stems. So if you're wanting to trim back your plant, let me show you a DIY that you can do. So start by just trimming down your plant, getting as long of pieces as possible. Next, we're going to try to turn these pieces into a wreath. At Dollar Tree, they have this set of 3 wreath rings. So you're going to need those. You're also going to need some kind of container. I thought this glass container was perfect because it already had the handle on it. Then I'm going to add on the glass container and hot glue that and tying it as well so it holds in place really well. Hot glue some jute twine around the top of these 3 wreaths just to hold them in place. I find that it's a little bit easier to do this DIY if it's hanging up. So I'm going to hang it up on the back of my cork board. Now the key to cutting these plant stems, you want to make sure you cut right below the bud area. That's going to help your plant stems to root and continue to grow. Now, when you're putting your plant stems onto your wreath, you want to make sure that you put the cut area into the vase because we're going to add water to that here in a little bit. So you're going to place that into the vase. Then you're going to wrap the rest of your stem around your vase. I did use some twine in certain areas to secure it, but if you can just wrap it around, do that as well. I really didn't secure it super tightly. So I did one stem going one way, and then I put another one in and put it the other way. So just add your stems till you're happy with the way it looks. Now at the end, I would go ahead and add water in there, and your plant stems should continue to grow and you should see some roots. Going forward, you want to make sure that you're adding water in there so all your stems are covered. On Pottery Barn's website, they have a lot of this coastal blue and white decor right now, so wanted to try to recreate my own look. So I found this vase at the thrift store. Now, it would have been great if it was all white. It was a marble finish, but I thought that'll work just as well. So I wanted to do blue stripes on here. So to do that, I'm going to be taping it off with washi tape. I thought the washi tape would be best because I would be able to get smaller lines. So I'm gonna use line of washi tape, and I'm just going to start at one end of the vase and smooth it to the other side. Now, I thought the best way to make sure all of my lines were even was to cut a little piece of washi tape and put it between each of my lines. So I had a small piece of washi tape that I set down next to the tape I just put down on the top and the bottom. And then I got another long strip of washi tape and started at one side and put it up to the top. And then you're just going to move those tiny pieces of washi tape all the way around. So you're going to take them, move them to the other side, add on another piece, and continue this until you get your vase completely covered. Now it's time to spray paint it. So the best way to do this, take it outside, do a light coat of spray paint on the underside, let it dry, flip it over, and do another light coat on the front side. Once it's dry, you're gonna remove the washi tape. Now, are you going to have perfect lines everywhere? No, but that's okay. It still looks great. Now, you could put any flowers in here. I have to tell you, my favorite flowers I buy on Amazon. They are these peony flowers. I have them in pink. They're gorgeous. I also have them in blue. So I decided, let's get another color. So I'm gonna be going with the white and green. Now, I did wanna show you my hack for putting these flowers into vases. Now, you could use this with any big artificial stem bundle that you have. Instead of just placing them down in there or cutting off the base, because that's kind of hard to do. What you want to do is you're going to hold the base of the stem and then take one of the flowers and you're going to bend it up so that the stem is in the middle. And you're going to continue to do that with all your flowers. Then place it into your vase. It will make the flowers look so much fuller, and you don't even have to cut the base of the stem, which is really hard to do. But let me show you how these flowers in the vase turned out. Dollar Tree has out these iridescent candle holders, and I know that I've seen them on high-end sites, these different rose candle holders. So I wasn't into the iridescent, but I thought, what if I tried to make them look more like the ones you see on high-end sites? So I have a frosted spray paint in my craft room, and I started by adding the frosted spray paint. And I have to tell you, I had to add quite a bit of that frosted spray paint in order to cover the iridescent. So I probably added a little too much. I wasn't happy with how the glass looked after adding so much spray paint. It probably would have been a little bit easier if they were clear glass. But I thought, okay, I've done that part. Let's see if when I add the gold accent to it, if it looks a little bit better. So to do that, I'm gonna be using gold rub and buff and a foam brush. And I put the gold rub and buff out on my table, and I dipped my foam brush into the rub and buff. And I started at the base, just adding it to the outside layer. Then I went around the edges of all the petals, trying hard not to get it anywhere where it's not supposed to be, because that's gonna be hard to remove. I went around all the layers, just took my time doing this, and I have to say that made the frosted layer look so much better. I repeated the steps with all three of my candle holders. Now you could add in LED candles. I'm gonna be using real tea lights. Let me show you how you could make a curtain tie with just some shower rings from Dollar Tree and twine that you probably have in your craft room. So take a Dollar Tree shower ring and you're going to wrap a layer of twine around there. I'm using my cream macrame. So I'm gonna start at one edge, hot glue it in place, and wrap it around. I like to hot glue probably every 3 or 4 wraps just to make sure it's nice and secure. So you're going to completely cover your entire shower ring. Next, you're going to need another twine. I'm gonna be using a thicker nautical rope. So this is nautical rope you can get at Dollar Tree. I'm gonna cut off a long piece, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start with the loop in my shower ring, and then I'll feed both ends of the nautical rope through that loop and pull tight. Now to secure it in place, I'm gonna use that cream twine, hot glue it on the back, wrap it around probably 7 or 8 times, and then I'll hot glue it in the back and cut off any excess. Now you're gonna have to determine how long you want this to be. And then at the other end, I'm going to wrap it again with that cream twine, hot gluing it on one side, wrapping it around, and hot gluing it at the end. Cut both of the nautical rope ends to the same length. Now the final step I'm gonna do is just fray out those edges, and then you can wrap this around any of your curtains to hold them in place. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite DIY was. I love knowing your opinion. And make sure you subscribe because I want to see you back here, and I'll see you in our next one. Bye.